I've been using the oils for almost 4 years, and so I was introduced to them by our common friend, for Kirsten and my friend, and it was the biggest thing that started us off actually believing that they worked was that my baby got tonsillitis when she was about 3 or 4 months old, and our friend, Kirsten's friend and my friend, said, "Oh, just put some oregano on the soles of her feet." And for me, I just thought, well, okay, that's really odd, but okay, let's try that. And it was incredible how quickly that really, really helped her. So she had a really high temperature, stopped spiking after 24 hours, and that was amazing. And then she also mint on her back to help to reduce the fever. And so we did that. She's a very knowledgeable and trustworthy friend, so we listened to her. And it worked a treat, and it was amazing. And that was, for me, I was like, oh, okay, maybe we need to pay attention a little bit. And so that's how we've now used them in everything we do in our home. So whether it's in food or medication or cleaning or just pretty much everything we do, there are oils around the house everywhere. Sometimes it drives my husband mad because they're just everywhere, because we use them in every part of our lives. So I'm really excited to be able to share this with you, because I think it can really affect a huge amount of a huge number of people in a positive way, emotionally and physically. So I will share what we have on here, and we'll have a few little bits of participation from various people. It'd be lovely to get some extra participation. We'll have definitely the Queen of LLV, Kirsten, come and tell us about that later on. So basically, what doTERRA are, the oils that they produce are therapeutic grade essential oils, and it is a natural way of taking care of our health. And what they base everything they do around is this wellness pyramid. And so we know that the only way to be healthy is to have all of these things. And so what that means is that we are eating well. We know that the basic building block of good health is to eat right, get enough exercise, get rest, and manage our stress and reduce our toxic load. If we can make sure that we don't have very many toxins in our lives, then our body can really function optimally, and that's brilliant. Then when things don't go a little bit not quite right, we can actually take care of ourselves if we have informed self-care, and we can be proactive when we need a little bit of TLC. And the oils can come into every part of this, and in varying degrees. So eating right, there's a supplement pack that we'll share with you later. Exercise, it can help you to avoid injury or to recover more quickly from injury so that you're back healthy enough to be able to go and do that. It can help you to have a more restful sleep, also get to sleep better, reduce your levels of cortisol. So lavender is a fantastic one to reduce your levels of cortisol, which is the stress hormone in our bodies, and reducing our toxic load. It's about looking around our homes, what is there that is high in toxins, whether it's our food, our cleaning products, are the things that we store our food in, like plastic pots and things like that, how we prepare our food, all of those kind of things. We can look at how we can reduce our toxic load, and then we can replace some of those products, those toxic products, with natural products that are plant-based medicine. So it's really exciting to be able to have something that's natural and no side effects that we can use. And then when we need a little bit of extra care, so when things go a little bit wrong, so maybe we haven't quite managed to manage our stress, our immune system's maybe been a little bit reduced, and we catch something, and then there's still something that we can do about it, and that's really exciting without any side effects, and I love that. So go straight into, some of you may already know a little bit about what essential oils are. Some of you may have used them already. These ones are incredible as to what they can achieve. Now we'll share why later on. So what essential oils are in the first place, they are the immune system of the plant. And so it has a real purpose within the plant, to be able to help it to repair damage, to keep away certain insects, to reduce bacterial infections of the leaves or things like that. So there's all of the things that we're affected by in terms of bacterial pathogens, plants are too, which actually is quite incredible that we can use those properties in the same way as the plant would, because we're both made up of similar building blocks, carbon and water. And so the great thing is that they are 50 to 70 times more powerful than dried herbs. So we're talking about the most powerful plant medicine in the world. Essential oils are the most powerful plant medicine in the world. So we know that herbs are great. We know that plant-based medicine is fantastic. If we can get the most potent version of it, then we're really on to a winner. And that's what really you can get with essential oils. So there's 3 key things that we'd love to share with you about these essential oils. They are 100% natural and completely safe. Obviously when used within the guidelines, but what that means is that they are exactly the way they were when they were in the plant. And if you have some peppermint or if you have some breathe, now would be a fantastic time to just put a drop on your hand. And I'm going to do it here. So what we often do, this is one of our favourite things for us to do, is to put a drop of peppermint on your hand, and you can then just rub your hands together and take some deep breaths. Now, if you don't have any oils, then you can just be warned. You can probably see my eyes are kind of slightly watering. But hopefully you will have experienced, if you're here on this call, then maybe you've experienced this at a fair, or someone has put oils on you and you've experienced this potency. And that is incredible. And that's one of the things I love about it, is that the potency, the impact that it can have is so fast. It's so fast. You don't have to wait for a long time. It just happens almost instantly. So if we're doing the peppermint, for example, it's fantastic to just wake us up. So if you've had a bit of a long day, you can usually feel your eyelids are slightly closing. You could go to sleep at any minute. Peppermint is a brilliant one to just put on your hands, rub your hands together, take some deep breaths, and really and you can physically feel, I certainly can physically feel my eyes opening a little bit more. And that's a really lovely way to just energize yourself. Now, what allows the oils to do this with one single drop is that they are exactly the way they were in the plant, and they are super potent and they are completely pure. So that means those 2 things are combined to have the most powerful plant medicine in the world. And so we have potency and purity. So purity is what we get if we have only what was there in the plant. So what doTERRA do is that they guarantee that their oils have nothing else in there. And they do this through very rigorous testing with what they call CPTG. So they certified pure therapeutic grade essential oils. And they do that by doing 5 different tests on every batch of oils. They will do the 5 tests and they will send them to someone else. They will do those tests and then they will have them back and they'll do the test again. So they've got 3 stages in their testing. Now, that seems a little bit excessive, but what they're doing, and the reason they work so hard at this, is that they really want to be able to show us as consumers, because although I'm telling you about this, I'm first and foremost, I am a user of these oils, and that's why I love sharing them, because I use them and they have been amazing for me. So they want to guarantee for their users that they are absolutely what they're saying they are. So when you open that bottle of peppermint, that's all that's in the bottle. So there's no pesticides, there's no fillers, there's no carrier oil. So these are neat. Most of the time, these are completely neat. When I say most of the time, you can buy certain ones that have been pre-diluted. But if you're buying a bottle of lavender or peppermint or lemon, it has not been diluted. This is pure essential oil. They also look at the standardized active compounds within each batch of oils. And what that means is, and the way I like to explain that is, it's like an ID card. So they have an ID card for what is a suitable batch of lavender, for example. And if any batch of lavender does not have the correct percentage of each compound, then that lavender will not be good enough for them and they won't use it. And that's what that standardized active compounds means. is that they have very specific criteria. And what that means for us is that we know that every bottle will have similar impact, similar potency, because they have this bracket they have to fit in. But most importantly, they are not, they have no pesticides, they have no synthetics. And that's probably the biggest point for me. Jennifer, would you mind just commenting on that? I know this is something that you feel very strongly about.
To unmute. Okay, I'm unmuted. Brilliant. Okay. Yeah, this is one of the things that because originally I thought, well, I'll just go get something from any shop, because hey, it might be the same and do the same thing. But then did a bit more research and found out about how lots of other companies will actually add fillers, and they'll do lots of things to basically adding chemicals that are similar with the tests they can do. They'll add ones which have similar chemical compounds, so then it's hard to trace. And there was lots of the chemistry. When I learned more about it, I really felt like, oh my goodness, I really did not know that this was allowed to happen, and that they could still put on the bottle 100% natural or 100% pure. And they were literally pure of other stuff and other things that weren't actually the things I thought I was buying when I would buy tea tree oil or when I would buy lavender. And so when I learned those things, I realized, actually, I never want to put anything else on my body ever again. The only ones I want is the purest ones that I can get. So that's why I've completely gone over to doTERRA and said, right, no, nothing else. The other thing that they are so potent is that they literally, for example, the peppermint, 1 drop of peppermint is the same as 28 cups of peppermint tea. So the actual sort of benefits in sort of medicinally or things like that, you get the same benefits from having, if you drank 28 cups of peppermint tea, you know, that's for digestion or to help you become more alert. You don't have to drink that many cups of tea. You can have 1 drop of peppermint and have the same benefits. So I love that they're very pure, and I know that. And then I also love that their potency, that they're grown and harvested from where they're indigenous. So where the source is where they're going to be most potent, because that's where they're naturally. Is that what you would you want me to go on to that, Lindsay, or do you want me to leave? Yeah, okay. Yeah, so basically, well, that's one of the things I love, is that, for example, they're not grown in a greenhouse somewhere in the UK, so you can then harvest it more easily. They're literally where they're grown naturally is where they'll harvest it. But I love that means that they're literally going to be their most potent, and they harvest them at the perfect time to make sure that all of the best parts of the plant and everything that we want to have for that potency is there when they harvest it. So vetiver, different things like that, the people that harvest them know exactly when it's perfect to harvest, when it's I'm not a harvester,
Majority, yeah.
Sorry, yeah, for when it's the best time. But
and actually, just to add to what Jennifer's just said, if you go back to what we just said at the beginning, that the essential oils are the immune system of the plant. So if you picture a person who was brought up in a very sterile room, their immune system would be really, really weak. And so if we have oils that are grown in an environment that's not their natural environment, not beaten by the wind, the sun, the insects, and all of everything else, the elements that they're meant to be exposed to, you end up with a very weak immune system of that plant. And that's what we are wanting to avoid. We want the powerful immune system, which means we'll have very potent oils. So this is a great map, so you can see. Added on top of that is that a lot of these countries are developing countries, or countries where their economy is not super strong. And that's a real benefit, because it means that we can also have a positive impact on the communities. We could go on and on about this, we won't, don't worry, but if you Google co-impact sourcing, it gives you a little bit more information, some beautiful videos about some of the things they do within the local communities, like building schools or medical centres, water sources. In vetiver, they built a water source. Sorry, in Haiti, where they sourced vetiver, they built a water source, because they realised that they had to walk for, like, I think it was 2 hours a day to go and get water. So there's lots of positive things that we can also have impact on those communities as well. So in terms of, we've already kind of mentioned what peppermint does, but it's really good for invigorating your lungs. There's a few studies actually that show that it enhances sports performance. And I figured, well, if it can make them do better, then it can certainly help me in my little daily run to school, because I'm always late. So all of those kind of things, but it can really help us with alertness. So what, if we're oxygenating our cells better, then we'll feel more alert, we'll feel more energetic, and we'll be able to actually concentrate better. It's also really good for headaches. We often combine it with lavender across the forehead or on the back of the neck, for headaches or for muscle tension. Also, if you put a drop in your mouth, or you can put it on your hand and then touch on your roof of your mouth, you'll feel minty fresh. Definitely ready for date night, or certainly can't brush your teeth. So peppermint's a fantastic one. The second key thing about these oils is that they are often more effective than over-the-counter medication. And from my perspective, it's not just what they can do, it's the speed with which they can do it. So they really achieve results very, very quickly. And that's really exciting. Apart from the fact that, has anyone ever been to the doctor and been told, oh, it's viral, just have to let it run its course, drink lots of water, off you go. No need to come back unless you're actually dying. I'm being dramatic, that's not true. But you know, you just have to let it run its course. There's not much you can do about it. And the reason for that is this. It's very, very simple science. So I'm definitely simplifying this, but we have our cell membranes have this oily cell membrane. This outer membrane is an oily cell membrane. And so on the outside of the cell, we have bacteria, and antibiotics will be very effective at killing bacteria on the outside of the cell. So most medication is water soluble. So it will swim around the outside of the cell, and it will very happily kill the bacteria, all of it, good and bad, but it will definitely get rid of it. Now, if you have a virus, it's on the inside of the cell. And so the antibiotics can't do anything because they're water soluble, remember? So they can't pass that barrier. They're also quite large molecules, so they won't be able to pass the small channels anyway. Now, if you have an essential oil comes along, like Melaleuca or On Guard or oregano, then you can actually affect this cell by, actually Melaleuca and oregano are the two kind of antibiotic partners. So it creates, when a virus infects a cell, it creates this kind of sludge around the cell, and that's a technical term. And then the Melaleuca cuts through, opens up that casing. Then the oregano can go in. The oregano is the big guns of essential oils. It's so powerful as an antibiotic. It's the most powerful natural antibiotic, and it can neutralize that virus. It isolates the virus and stops it from duplicating. So if you know a little bit about how viruses make us feel rough, is that they duplicate, and then infect cell after cell after cell. And if you can stop that duplication from happening, then your body can catch up much faster, and that means that you'll be able to get better much more quickly. Equally, if your immune system is low and the virus is duplicating, then you're really going to feel ill for a long time. So if you've been under a lot of stress, your immune system is weak, then you're really going to struggle. And we know this, that if that's the case, then we can get ill, and then it can really last for a long time. So we've got the double-edged, double whammy with these essential oils is that you can use On Guard to boost your immune system. So you're helping your immune system to be stronger, so your body can catch up faster. And then you're using your oregano and your Melaleuca as antibiotics. I'm going to come back to On Guard just so that we can, because we don't want to neglect that one. That's a brilliant one. So this one is fantastic for just cleansing the air, purifying the air. You can see a list of some of the things that are good to use that for. What we use this for, we diffuse this one throughout the winter in my children's room and sometimes in our room. I don't know, we always take care of them a bit better than we do ourselves, but On Guard has definitely been a daily, and I think this winter's been particularly rough for viruses and quite horrible things going around, so we've managed to keep them at bay, and that's been amazing. So I was so desperate for them to not catch all these nasty things, so I was putting oregano under their feet. So we've used it by diffusing it throughout the night, so that's boosting their immune system, and rubbing it on the soles of their feet every night at bedtime as well. And then the other thing that I use it for is if I have sore teeth, ulcers, sore gums, really good for just mouth hygiene, oral hygiene. So it's a great one to be able to gargle as well. If you have a sore throat, you can also gargle on guard. Just a really, really supportive one, and it's one that you can use as a preventative rather than waiting for things to go wrong. Oregano is definitely in our household our antibiotic, so when things have gone slightly awry and we need a little bit of extra support, or they're on their way, so you feel your glands are up, your throat's starting to feel a bit scratchy, then we'll bring out the oregano. So for our children, we'll put it on the soles of their feet, diluted. So oregano is a very hot oil, so you'll see here you've got a big D for dilute. That's because it's a hot oil. You'll notice on here, for on guard, it says an S, means for sensitivity. That means you could dilute it, you may need to dilute it, but it won't necessarily have to be diluted. What this ATI is, that we'll come on to a little bit later, is aromatic, topical, and internal. So these are the ways that we can use these oils. So just to point those things out. So oregano, dilute. It's a hot oil. We always dilute it when we're using it topically. The other thing, sorry. I don't know if that's on your screen as well. So the other thing is it's really good for cleansing parasites. So within your gut, fantastic cleanser. Really, really good way to do like your annual cleanse, to just clear your gut of any sorts of parasites or bacteria or things that you don't want to have in there. So it's a really good gut cleansing agent as well. As I say, this is one that we often will put in a little gelatin capsule. So we've got these little pods that go together. They're a bit small for me to show you, but they're tablets casing that are empty. You put your oils in and then you put the other lid on, and you can swallow them without tasting them. Now, if you're really hardcore, which if I can feel my throat starting to get scratchy, my glands are up, I'll put a drop in a shot glass of water of oregano, gargle it and swallow it, and it usually clears it overnight. So by the next day, it's gone. That's how powerful this oregano is. I absolutely love it. So we've got rid of tonsillitis several times completely gone within 48 hours with tonsillitis. So with oregano, and it's been amazing. Melaleuca obviously combines very well with the oregano. This is pretty much anything for, as I said, first aid for the skin, but also anything kind of disgusting like nits and fungal toenails and athlete's foot and dandruff and mold. So if you're thinking of all of those things, Melaleuca is the one that you want to have. So whether you put it in your shampoo for your scalp, or you can put it in your face wash for your face, or it's a great one to just kind of drop onto the toes if it's something that you go to the gym or the swimming pool a lot. It's a great way to do that. Equally, I spray this on my children's head when you get that lovely letter home saying about some visitors are in town, and you want to try and avoid them catching them. So really, really good for prevention as well. I do often mix it with lemon, just to mask that smell of Melaleuca, because it's quite distinctive and I don't want anyone to be unkind to them at school. So lemon is a fantastic way to it's very good in itself, but it also helps with the smell. So citrus oils are fantastic for changing the smell of things. So we're back to our three key things. So we've had the first things, they are completely natural, nothing's added, nothing taken away, exactly the way they were in the plant. The second thing is that they are more effective than over-the-counter medication in terms of what they can achieve and their speed of impact. The third thing is that they are really cost effective. Now Zengest is the example I've got on there. Zengest is again an oil that I've used a lot of in the past, not so much at the moment, but in the past. I have IBS, and so I used to get quite bad cramping and bloating if I ate the wrong foods. Maybe I'm just a bit better at choosing my foods now. But what I would do is I put a drop in a glass of water and then drink it, and within less than 5 minutes it just calms right down. It's no problem at all. And what Zengest is, I bet you could guess what's in Zengest. It's all of your kind of grandmother's solutions to sore tummies. So you've got your fennel, your ginger, your peppermint, your aniseed, and it's all in that blend. So literally that one drop, instead of having to try and, if you are using plant-based medicine, try and find fennel or try and find all these different plants that might not be in season at that point. Or there's a whole complication to it. And having to boil it and all of those kind of things. So I know it's possible, and I know lots of people do that. I think this is definitely, there's a step up from that, and the easiness of it is quite incredible. So the other way we use this one is by rubbing it on the tummy. So I've done this for myself, or for children, certainly putting a drop on their tummy. So we usually put a carrier oil on their tummy, then one drop of oil, and rub it in a clockwise direction. So in the direction of peristalsis, which is how the muscles contract around your digestive tract. So it's anything you can think of that's within your digestive system. This is the oil that we would use. So when I say they're cost effective, so if you think of all the things that can go wrong in your digestive system, I mean, if you want to throw some on the messages, go for it. But we've got some. You could have constipation. You can have this lovely time. Constipation, diarrhea. We've got cramping, bloating, nausea, everything you can think of in that area. Travel sickness. Thank you. Travel sickness. And Digest Zen, or Zengest. They've swapped the names. That's why you've got two different names on the screen. Zengest is the new name. Is the one thing. So if you think of a box of medication you would need for each of those things, one different medication for each one, and then you think that this is one oil, one drop, the cost is just, so small compared to what it would be costing you normally. And I did actually work this out. So if you're someone who suffers from heartburn, then you may use something like Gaviscon. And so actually a dose of Gaviscon is 22 pence. And one drop of Zengest is 12 pence. So you've already almost halved your cost just by using that. And then this is then taking away from any other things. And now the reason it's the same oil for opposite conditions like constipation and diarrhea is that it's helping your body to come back into balance. And that's what these oils do. They're not forcing your body in any direction. They're helping you to come back into balance. And that's what's really exciting, because if we're balanced, whether it's emotionally or physically, then things are good. Our body feels good, and it can really work the way it should and the way it can. So this is really, really lovely one. So we've talked about some of these already, but before I'll go straight into this so we can make sure we've got time at the end. So there's 3 ways of using these oils. The first one is aromatic. So we've mentioned this already with the On Guard, for example. That's one that we diffuse a lot. So the way diffusing it in the room can really purify the air. So it's cleansing any pathogens that are floating around. So if someone comes into the house kind of coughing, sneezing, whether they're part of our family or not, coughing, sneezing, or had a sore tummy, then we'll put the diffuser on with some On Guard, and that really helps to just neutralize those pathogens, and also boosting our immune system. So we've got that double approach where we're slowing the pathogen down and boosting our immune system. So it's really effective for that. But the other thing, and this is my favorite oil of all, is wild orange. And this one is, and a lot of them are able to have an emotional impact on us. So they're able to actually change how we feel. And this kind of blew my mind to start off with. I thought, well, I really just don't see how that can be possible with essential oils. So I looked into it. I was a maths and science teacher before, so I'm very much about evidence-based, and I need to know how this is working like biologically, chemically, rather than just saying it makes me feel better. And so what this is that this is directly impacting the chemistry in your brain. And so if you have, in between your eyes, just behind your nose, you have your olfactory nerve in the middle of your brain. So I can't touch it, middle of your brain. And so when you smell something, it directly takes that signal to that olfactory nerve and changes the chemistry of your brain. And so before you know it, you've got these neurotransmitters that are released, like serotonin and dopamine. Those ones that we know make us feel better. And that's incredible. Within seconds, nothing affects our emotions faster than that. So if any of you have had any sort of like mood medication, or whether it's antidepressants, things like that, you know that there's a delay for your body to actually, for it to have any impact on your emotional well-being. It takes sometimes a few months actually, which I was very surprised about. But this is a few seconds, and that's amazing. It's incredible. So another one we diffuse a lot is Breathe, and that's the one that Kirsten mentioned for her daughter. And basically Breathe it's called the respiratory blend, and it's, again, everything you can think of within that system. So whether it's coughs and colds and, you know, any sorts of wheezing or asthma, or again, thinking of breathing, panic attacks, the inability to actually take that in breath. Breathe is really, really good at helping us to have that experience. So it's a lovely one to put in a diffuser at bedtime. Just helps with also helps with snoring. So as my husband's not in here, he snores. I do too. So we both actually put it on each other at bedtime. So whoever falls asleep second puts it on the other one to stop them from snoring. And it's really effective. I've also had shared rooms in hotels, and I've had someone put it on me before. So it's really effective to be able to allow everyone to have a good sleep. So really, really good one. It's a very gentle one. So, but you'll notice the S, I usually put on my children, particularly, I put a carrier oil on the chest and then 1 drop on the chest. To make it sit there for longer, so you can smell it, and it's going more slowly is being absorbed into your bloodstream around your lung area. Just the results of this one, I know Kirsten's already mentioned, but has been amazing and really life-changing, because, you know, not being able to actually breathe is obviously a massive issue. So we've had friends with other children as well. I've had big impact with that. So one of the benefits of these oils is that they are not dealing with the symptoms. So things like asthma, where it's often damage to the tissue in the lungs, Breathe is able to help to repair some of that damage. So you're not just dealing with the result of that damage, which is the wheeze, you're helping to resolve some of the issues. So often Breathe and frankincense together is used for severe asthma, and they really help to heal some of that damage. We've seen this happen with a friend's little boy who was having chest x-rays to monitor, and they found that the damage had really alleviated to the point where he could come off his daily steroids. So it was really severe for him, and that's incredible. So we're not just dealing with symptoms here, which is just great. So then you've got topical application, which means you're applying it directly to the skin. So there's a blend called Deep Blue. We have it in a oil form and in a cream form, and this one, you can see the cream on there. This one is really good for applying directly to the area of pain. And so, has anyone had any significant experiences with Deep Blue that you would like to share with us?
Mine was exercising, actually. It was just like allowing my body to actually work properly when I was trying to do something a little bit more than just sitting or walking. So I'd actually put it on my legs before I'd go out. And I do suffer from hip pain, certainly with, you know, bike riding or doing long runs. So I would always put it on my hips as well afterwards to help. And I wouldn't have any pain. So I love it. And it really does help your muscles and your bones as well with pain.
Brilliant. Thank you. There's also been used for things like carpal tunnel syndrome, or we're talking about Deep Blue, so I'll show you that one, but or frozen shoulders, or just muscle tension. But that's great. You can use it before or after your workout, or just generally for tension relieving. It's just so soothing. So it's a blend of essential oils. So you've got a whole bunch of soothing essential oils, muscle tension relieving essential oils in there. Really good for massage. So if you do have anyone that you are very lucky to have someone massage you, Deep Blue is a great one to ask them to put on. The other one that was on there was lavender. Now, this is not a list of how to use them, because you can use most of these oils in all the different ways. So you'll notice that Deep Blue is the only one that is only for topical use. So we only apply that one to our skin. Lavender, you can use it in all the different ways, but we use this one a lot topically. So this is a kind of our first aid oil. So whether it's cuts or grazes or irritated skin, is really good for that. It's also just anything that's irritated. So whether it's mood or skin, lavender is really calming. So it really helps to calm down bee stings. I've used that one for bee stings in the past on a little 3-year-old boy who had it just on his top lip, and obviously he's going crazy about it. And lavender on there calmed the bite down visibly, and the boy just almost switched. It was quite incredible actually, but really, really calming. And I've experienced the itch of like a stingy nettle, lavender on it calms it right down. It's also really good for anxiety. I love combining lavender with wild orange for anxiety particularly, but also as a mood lifter. Great one to just quiet the mind at bedtime. So if there's all these things going on in your head and you can't quite get it to be quiet, wild orange and lavender is a lovely, lovely one to quiet the mind. So they're two that we use a lot topically. The third way is internally. This is one of the ways that's really specific to doTERRA. So we don't recommend going out and just using any old oils in the same way as we're talking about this evening, internally particularly. We use these as a dietary supplement. And what that means is we can target the parts of our bodies that need extra support by taking them internally. So whether it's the liver or the kidneys or the bowels or the stomach, there's all sorts of things that we can do from the inside. And it's always made sense to me, particularly for Zengest, that if I have a sore tummy or if there's something that's inflamed within my gut, then I want something to go in and calm down my gut. And so it makes sense to me to take that one internally. What this means is it's increasing that concentration of the oil within your bloodstream, and so you can achieve things much faster when you're cleansing particularly. So lemon is a fantastic cleanser. So lemon is probably the one we drink the most of, that we take most internally. We have it in our water pretty much constantly, so always in glass or stainless steel, never in a plastic bottle because it breaks down plastic. And that's one of the benefits of lemon, is that it breaks down plastic. So we have toxins and things in our bodies, and so lemon can really break those down or help the body to break them down by breaking down that fat capsule, because our body's so clever, it kind of capsules them up into fat so that it's not floating around our bodies. And then the lemon can cut through that fat, break down the toxin, and then our body can then just flush it out through its normal evacuation pathway. So lemon is fantastic. It's also, from a more practical perspective, you can diffuse it. As I said, it's very good at neutralizing odors. So whether it's melaleuca that is hiding, or just the smell in the toilet, for example. I know our sister uses it in their toilet. She's got 3 boys. So she uses it to neutralize that odor in the toilet, puts a drop in the bowl of the toilet. The benefit is that it's also one of the cheapest oil. It's 3 pence per drop. So it's fine to put one in the toilet. It is very, very beneficial for if you have lots of mucus, because it thins the mucus. So if you've got a cough, it's really good to just put your lemon in your water and drink it constantly throughout the day, helping to thin that mucus so that it's easier for your body to expel it. Really antibacterial, so we do a lot of cleaning with lemon actually. The benefit of that is, again, we're reducing our toxic load by reducing those things that are on our counters, which means when I lick the counter, my children do lick the counter. If I use my finger and then lick my finger, which is kind of the same really, all I'm getting on there is the essential oils, and that's great. There's no toxicity in there at all. But it is also an antioxidant, and that's why it's a really beneficial one for us. So it's a real all-rounder, but it's also super cheap, so you don't need to worry about it in terms of drinking a lot of it. So lemon is brilliant. Then we've got the other extreme in terms of cost, but also huge benefits, is frankincense. So they call it the king of all oils, and there's definitely a reason for it. It's healing for everything. So whether it's emotionally or physically, it's just a beautiful oil. The smell people either like or they don't like, but for me it's almost irrelevant because of the impact it can have, is just so quite profound, really. So this has been one that I've used personally as an antidepressant. So I used to put it on my finger and put it on the roof of my mouth. I say used to because I don't need it anymore. And it's just been, it really allows you to just get out of that place where you don't want to be. It's also really healing for the skin. So whether it's for wrinkles or just fine lines, or just for scarring, is really, really beneficial for scarring. So, for stretch marks or actual scars, really helpful. This is one we also use for my daughter with lavender for headaches. So we'll put it on the back of her neck. And she gets headaches every now and then, and so we put it on the back of her neck. And I know it's really calming any tension. So it says, when in doubt, use frankincense. If you have another option, I'd say use the other option, because frankincense is £76 for a bottle retail or 57 wholesale. So it definitely, and there's a reason for that. So when they're sourcing the oils and the prices, they all range in price. And so when they're sourcing these oils, they will really go, again, to great lengths, but they also only take the best of that. So frankincense comes from a resin from the boswellia tree, and then that resin is sorted into grades, and doTERRA will only use the grade 1. The grade of resin goes all the way to grade 4. So you can see how they could obviously make it much cheaper and take grade 4 resin, and that would be cheaper, and you would still have frankincense, and it could still be pure, and it could still, it could still be labeled as pure frankincense, because it would be true, but you would have pure lower grade frankincense, and so the impact that they would have is much, much less. So that's for all of these oils, is a very similar process. So just in terms of safety, just to make sure that everyone does this, I don't think you would, but drop them directly in your eyes or up your nose or in your ears. They're the things that we don't do. They are very safe, and they're very gentle. They don't have any side effects. The only thing that can happen is skin sensitivity, and it's a very easy fix. So we would just put a carrier oil over the top and just dilute it, and it will calm down very quickly. So my children have all had oils in their eyes. I've had oils in my eyes, and you would dilute it with a tissue or a cotton, bit of cotton with oil, and dilute it, and it clears out very quickly. So just so that you're aware, that don't panic about it. It won't have any permanent damage. Before we move on to this one, I just want to just mention, so this is the supplements that Kirsten's going to take us through. But I guess the biggest thing for me is, and with the frankincense highlights that as well, is that this is really a question of what is going on for you, and how much of an issue is it, and how important is it to you to actually heal that issue and resolve that problem. And this is kind of the biggest question, I guess, is, will you invest in yourself, in your health? And that's how I've experienced not doing it, and then I've experienced doing it, and I honestly would never look back. And I think that we do need to take that time to just invest a bit more time, energy, and money into our own health. So anyway, over to you, Kirsten, about, this is their best-selling product, and there's totally a reason for it.
So it might be a bit surprising to talk about supplements when this is an oils chat, but I was introduced to the lifelong vitality pack after I kind of got introduced to the oils, and I thought, didn't really understand what was going on really, but then I kind of learned more about them and understood what they were doing, and the level of quality that goes into the oils. I think you can understand from what doTERRA does and their ethos of top quality to give you, which is all of us, the best effects, really is what these supplements are about. So I've been into health food shops previously, and I've walked out with a bag of things, and I've tried to get my hair nice and glossy, and I've tried to help with this, that, and the other, and quite frankly, nothing's changed, and I've been very disappointed. So when I heard about the supplements, I was quite intrigued, I suppose, because I thought, well, they do lovely oils and I really love the oils. So maybe this is another thing that I kind of need to experience. So, and this is actually what the ethos of these supplements are, is that people have used many different supplements out there, and unfortunately 95% of supplements are poor quality. And it's not just the quality, it's the actual way it is created, and the creation of these supplements is the most important thing, because otherwise you don't absorb them. And it is the way that and the time, energy and science that goes into these supplements is the bit that has blown me away. 20 years in the creation, actually, LLV, which is just amazing. The really cool thing is there's 3 bottles, of which you take 2 in the morning and 2 at lunchtime on full dose of each of them. And you have everything in there, like everything that you would try and get in lots and lots of different bottles to try and get something out of something. They've got it all together. Absolutely jam-packed powerhouse. Unreal. So the only way you would know this is if you've tried it, because this is one of the things with the essential vitamins and minerals. You've got a whole food equivalent of 12 portions of fruit and vegetable a day in this. Like, hands up who struggles to get 5 portions of fruit and vegetable a day. Imagine giving your body 12 a day. It's like, hello, a whole new life has just been given to you. I honestly cannot believe how much nutrition comes in, which your body absorbs, it accepts and takes in and uses. The essential fatty acids, we all know about these fatty acids being really important as part of your brain cognitive function. And it's so important to have these things because they help move your bodies into a better place. The omega-3s, like all the greasy yuck foods, like they have omega-6s that aren't great. Omega-3s need to be in balance with the omega-6s, which are in the XE omega oil complex, and they will bring everything back into harmony. The oils, for example, those oils are the omega oils are not rancid. Now some unfortunately, if you pick them off the shelf in a different health food shop, whatever, they don't have antioxidants in them, and therefore they degrade. So you're actually taking something that's pretty yuck. These are not. Everything has been thought about to give your body the best, because it wants to give you a really amazing experience, to the point that this is doTERRA's #1 seller. And there is a massive reason why, because of what the quality and the that it brings in combination with everything that's in these products. So there's 9 essential oils in this complex. So this is an amazing amount of antioxidant oils, things that are in there like clove bud. That is just off the scale for getting rid of antioxidants. It's as an antioxidant, getting rid of free radicals that are rolling around in your body doing not great things. Frankincense, we've just talked about the amazing powerful healing of frankincense and how it helps your body with all processes, neurological as well as physical. Thyme, cumin, orange, peppermint, ginger, caraway. Some of these you may know about already, some you may not, but there's amazing tummy health oils here. So some of these come in and they start to make your body work in the digestive system a lot better. And the reason why you want that is that 70% of your immune system is in your gut. So this whole ethos of healthy gut, healthy mind, I never really got until I started using these supplements, because every day I'm getting nutrition, every day I'm getting essential oils, and they are helping my gut detox and cleanse, and I've never felt healthier. What happens is, people start these and they're not sure. You go through a detox, because most often people haven't detoxed in their lives. That's just, you might have maybe quit alcohol in January if you've drunk too much over Christmas, whatever, but no majors. So this to me was like something that I'd never done, because it's easy. I was like, oh, okay, I can do that. Of course I can take some natural tablets every day. That sounds fine. What happened to me was like nothing too bad. I didn't get major headaches. Some people get headaches with detox. But what happened to me at the end of the 4 weeks was I had energy for the first time in absolutely years. And when I carried on taking them, the energy was the first thing I noticed. I just literally came in leaps and bounds. And as I continued taking them, even at half dose, which is recommended after 1 to 3 months, so you don't have to take them at full dose for the whole time, but I'm now on half dose and I absolutely love what they do to me on half dose, is that I'm detoxing every day. So I'm basically giving my body good things and I'm getting rid of the bad. So if it's candida, if it's yeast, if it's mold, if it's something that's stuck in your body, these supplements all together will cleanse and restore your body, which is just so powerful. I had anxiety, and the reason that I now know like how good these are is that I don't have anxiety now. This is something that people seriously need with any chronic conditions, anything, depression, anxiety, arthritis, Crohn's disease, anything. They reset the body. That's what they're here for. So they get everything back to normal and they give your body a fighting chance against all of the yuck that's in it or being taken into it. And they absolutely blow people away. So the cellular vitality mix that is in there is full of all these lovely things that you've heard about and probably think very healthy people take those. Well, I'm now a very healthy person because I actually take them without even having to try. You know, turmeric root, curcumin, these are things that you've heard about with helping even against cancer cells, you know, like fighting things like that in the body naturally. This sounds pretty crazy. It's not. If you look and research these things, they're out there. Pomegranate fruit extracts, the grape seeds, all these different things, boswellia, we're talking about that, all these different things that you would try and get if you're really healthy, and I'll put that in a smoothie and I'll do this and do that. You don't need to bother, basically. You just have it all here, and it is changing people's lives, and this is why it's number one, absolutely, hands down.
Thank you, Kirsten. There were a few examples I kind of just skipped through actually when Kirsten's saying about changing people's lives. So I won't go over them in detail, but just wanted to highlight a few. So you've got, this is a friend of mine who has polycystic ovarian syndrome, and it was the oils that allowed her to have regular periods for the first time in her life, and then have a baby at 40, having been told that she'd struggled to have children when she was in her 20s. So that was quite amazing for her. This is a lady who had fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue and diabetes, and I met her for a few years ago. She was dancing on the dance floor. I had no idea she had ever had a mobility scooter, and I thought it was really interesting to have that kind of the background information, and that she knows that it's LLVS has a lot to do with it. Here we've got Sarah who had anxiety. And then Julia with her arthritic pain. So these are just a few examples. It's not, I don't want to highlight it too much, but just these are a few people who have experienced it. We wanted to just flag some of these. So if these are things that you relate to, then that's, you know, this is what's happened. This one is, I definitely relate to this one. This is me. So it was, I had pelvic damage, and so my ligaments were slightly torn. So I won't go into the whole long length of it, but they were torn and they were not able to heal, and no matter what I tried to do, different interventions in very different ways, alternative, traditional food, so I ate raw for 3 months. I tried everything I could possibly have. This is where the depression came from, so I'm not prone to it at all, but when I couldn't pick up my children or look after them or really walk very well, that definitely had an impact on my emotions. So taking LLV and a combination of other oils was what allowed me to get back into being healthy and have the baby that you saw the foot at the beginning of the class. So, you know, it's totally, and I know it sounds quite dramatic, but it's totally given me back being myself and to our family. So they definitely have had an impact for me. So I definitely can't recommend trying them enough. And the good thing is that you've not really got much to lose, because they do a 30-day money-back guarantee. So for me, I feel like if there's anything going on, even if it's just kind of fatigue, you could do with an extra boost, you feel the need that by 3 o'clock you're really just having that lull, you could go to bed quite happily. If that's you, or you feel like you're walking through treacle, or just your mental clarity is not quite where it used to be, this can all be signs of either deficiency, or your hair breaks very easily, dark circles under your eyes, all of these things that can be a sign of deficiency. I would say just give this a shot, see what impact it has for you. If it doesn't have any, then great, get your money back and that's fine. But if it can really help you, and as it has me and so many others, then, it's worth a shot. So at this point, we just wanted to just share with you, because I know that some of you will be wanting to know, well, how do I actually get them? And so there's different ways for you to do that. The first way is you can go on to whoever introduced you to this class, to their retail website, and get whichever oils you would like to get. It's not the most cost-effective way, but it is available. You would be getting the retail prices. The second way is by opening up a wholesale account, and that costs £24 to open up the account. And then you have access to everything at 25% discount, so at wholesale prices, kind of like a Costco membership for the year. Then after a year, on your next order after that year has passed, there's £15 renewal fee is added on, and you get sent out a free bottle of peppermint, which is worth £16. So it kind of offsets. So the renewal fee is almost null and void. So the other way, which doTERRA put together, is some kits to make this even easier. So there's a whole world of essential oils out there, and it can become a little bit overwhelming if you're just looking at everything in one go. So I wouldn't recommend doing that. To have a starting point, and this is what doTERRA have done, is they've put together some starting points. So this is one of the starting points, is the Natural Solutions Kit. This is a brilliant overhaul kit. So this is a great way for you to just say, all right, let's go all natural medicine. So we've got that set of 10 oils that we've kind of taken you through this evening, as well as the emotional oils. So things that are calming, like serenity or balance or elevation, like a mood lifting oil. You've got your diffuser, your hair, like your shampoo and conditioner, your facial system. So you can see it's literally overhaul of your home to a natural way. And you get that lovely wooden box with it as well. But this is an overhaul, so that's £568 for that one. All of these kits include your wholesale membership, so you do not pay £24 on top. That's included in all of these kits, and then anything after that is 25% discounted. So this is the Home Essentials kit. So this has all of the oils that we've mentioned today. These are 15ml bottles. So if I show you, got my two different ones, size isn't possibly not super clear on here, but 15ml bottles, so that's 250 drops. And except for deep blue, it's always a 5ml. So these are 15ml bottles, and you get the diffuser included with that one, with the Home Essentials kit. So this is a really great way to get quite a large quantity of essential oils in the variety of oils as well. Then you've got the same set of 10 oils in 5ml bottles. So we're now talking about the Family Essentials kit. So you can see the difference between the two bottles. You've got 250 drops in here and 85 drops in the 5ml bottle. So if you're thinking about look at the value price, you've got 3 times as much oil for roughly twice the price, less than twice the price, and the diffusers included as well. So really, really cost effective. So that's one that I definitely recommend if you're wanting a larger quantity of oils, if budget allows. Then you've got another all-rounder kit that covers a lot of things. The Family Wellness Kit. I love this one. It's the one our mum went for, because she wanted the supplements and the oils and the toothpaste. They were her key priorities, and she was like, amazing, it's all in one. So you've got those 10 oils, you've got the supplements, you've got some extras as well. So you've got your fractionated coconut oil, which is the carrier oil that we recommend, because it doesn't change the chemistry of the oils. You've got your past tense, which is your kind of tension headache or migraine blend in a roller bottle. So little On Guard beadlets, the On Guard toothpaste. So remember we said about On Guard being good for oral hygiene or oral health. So you've got it in the toothpaste form. Your amazing supplements, and then this is just some hand wash, On Guard hand wash, And then On Guard Plus is On Guard blend with oregano in there, so you can see what the extras are in there. So again, this is a really good place to kind of, it's not quite as significant overhaul as the first one, but a really, really good place to start, you know, really revolutionizing how you're taking care of yourself and your family. So they're the main kits. They're the main kits, and after this call, after this this webinar, what we'll do, the person who contacted you or who introduced you or invited you to this class will get in touch with you. We will send you an email with some of these, a little bit of information, and then the person who introduced you to the class will give you a call within the next couple of days, and you'll be able to discuss if there's any other questions you have. We'll send you an enrollment form, so if you would like to order anything, you'll be able to do that by filling in the form and then sending it back to us. So we definitely will open up for, you know, a few minutes for any questions if you have any, but I hope that you've got something out of it. I think this is one of the things I enjoy most, is being able to just go and touch, you know, so many people's lives by sharing these oils that have done so much for our family. So you can see from what I spoke to you about a minute ago, when I said it's really affected our family, it's really affected our family. So in every way possible. And then the last thing I would say is, if you think that there's people around you within your circle who could benefit from these oils, or who would like to hear about them, then please let us know. We travel all over the country teaching these classes, and we'd love to come and teach a class for you. So if this is something that you might be interested in, talk to the person who invited you, and I'm sure we'll be able to come up with a way to be able to do that for you. So I will just stop the recording and then open up for any questions.